The difference between an ordinary person and a billionaire? The difference is a zero. Well, actually, 9 zeros.
Now, what does being a billionaire even mean? Being a billionaire has its own unique world. Of course, we mean billions of dollars, not other currency units. According to a Forbes magazine report, there are currently 3,028 billionaires in the world. So their numbers aren't large, but they exist all over the world. They also have a lot of influence. The ordinary people we know, me, you, our neighbor, our friend, our companion, our fellow citizens, lead ordinary lives. They either live with their parents, have their own family, or live alone. But the story of billionaires is different. They seek each other out for socializing, meaning a billionaire socializes with another billionaire. They never really mix with ordinary people. That's why their social interactions are artificial, and their lives are very artificial too. You might say we socialize and are friends with people, but they don't walk the path with ordinary people, because many of them live in a way that has no relation to ordinary people. The house they live in, the cars they ride in, the workers who only work in their house, and the expenses they incur are very far from the reality of the world. For example, no billionaire knows how much a gallon of milk costs in a store because they've never even been to a grocery store. Or for instance, what's the average salary of an ordinary person? They don't know. It's interesting to know that once a journalist caught Bill Gates off guard. Casually, he asked him, "By the way, do you know how much a carton of eggs costs?" Bill Gates, not to be outdone, thinks for a moment and says, $40. Whereas at the time this question was asked, a carton of eggs cost $3 in the US. So they're in a different dimension. All this is related to their social circles, circles that are very closed and isolated. For example, if you pay attention to Elon Musk's talks, especially when he's talking to his employees, he tries to pretend that I'm just like you, and they usually are very careful not to make a blunder, like Bill Gates.
Unless you get...
Donald Trump is also a billionaire. When he doesn't know an answer, he twists and turns and evades, not because he's a politician now, but because of his billionaire status. Donald Trump is also an old-school billionaire. He has been considered a billionaire since 50 years ago. In 2015, before he became president, he was asked, "When was the last time you drove?" He laughed and said, "I don't even remember, and I don't think I could ever sit behind the wheel again." And that's really the case. When a person doesn't drive, they forget how. Maybe you're working hard, and suddenly you think, can I, with all this hard work, ever become a billionaire? Unfortunately, the short answer is no, because anyone who is a billionaire doesn't work hard themselves. Rather, a bunch of other people are working for them. For example, Jeff Bezos, the owner of Amazon, has 1.5 million people working for him, meaning 1.5 million times the effort of our friend who asked, "With all this effort, will I become a billionaire?" is being done for him. Now, how can someone become a billionaire by working hard? The way is to hire 1.5 million people. Just kidding, of course. Another way to become a billionaire is what some people say, what if 1 million people from the world each gave me $5? It's nothing to them. They only lose a $5 bill, but I get $5 million and become a billionaire. You might say, this idea is ridiculous. What's $5? They wouldn't even give me $1. But you should know that this same idea, in a different form, has made many people billionaires. For example, in 2007, when Hastings started Netflix, his idea was that people would subscribe and each pay $8 a month to watch and rent any movie they wanted. This idea is similar. He provides a service and millions of people give him $8 each. That's why in a very short time, Mr. Hastings became a multi-billionaire, to the extent that his company is now worth more than $50 billion. But we said billionaires are rare because there are only 3,000 of them. If they were animals, we could say they're going extinct. You might say, are you broadcasting communist or socialist videos? Let him be a billionaire. Okay,
We have no problem with that. We just want to talk about the strangeness of their lives, which we said is in a different dimension, but they pretend to be ordinary people. Well, now let's go a little into the life of a billionaire and see what's going on. They can easily buy anything that's purchasable with money. The best house, the best car, the best chef, the best clothes, a private jet, a private yacht. Meaning, they reach a point where they become saturated with everything and nothing is interesting to them anymore. When a billionaire reaches this stage, life becomes very meaningless and hard for them. This is when they see an ordinary person buying an inexpensive car and getting happy, and they become intensely envious. They say, "I wish I could be happy like that." In short, their lives are very artificial. There are no real friends. Everyone around them is like a predator. If they are there, it's because of the money. From now on, when you gather with family or friends, appreciate those moments, because they can't be bought with any amount of money.